From Manual High School in Peoria, Clutch Sports Media is here for a Big 12 conference matchup. It's the Manual Rams host the Normal Community Ironmen here in this early December showdown. Alongside Michael Savoy, I'm Gavin Russell. Michael, it's a pleasure to be here with you. We've got a great one in store tonight. Normal Community, a juggernaut team in Class 4A. Manual, very good in Class 2A, but both with a lot of big talent.
A lot of big talent on both of these teams, and as for the Big 12, I mean, both of these teams are in the thick of the race in their own conference, so this is a good early conference showdown.
Indeed, and we've got a lot of keys to watch here in this game, but how about kind of the history of both of these teams, Michael? I know that Peoria Manual has had an extensive history throughout their long, over 100-plus years, you know, being a school, being a basketball program. You look at the four-peat, all the legendary players that have come through here. How about Dick Van Syek, among other great coaches, Wayne McLean. This is just a history-filled school that's just trying to continue that legacy.
You got to talk about, when you talk about Peoria Manual, it's hard to keep out the word history because, like you said, Gavin, with the four-peat from 94 to 97, I mean, it's hard to beat that. And you also got to talk about the 97 national champions. I mean, it's hard to beat that when it comes to history.
It certainly is. And, you know, way before our time, unfortunately, Michael, and all these players, you know, never got to see or experience any of it, but I'm sure we have many people that'll be here in this gym that are watching our broadcast. They remember all the legendary players and coaches, and one of those legendary players that was on a legendary team of one of many is now the head coach. Marvin Jordan for Manual took over just the age of 30 last year, so a bit of a younger head coach, but he already has winning experience. 5-year assistant for Willie Coleman. He played 3 years varsity, including a state runner-up in his senior year. He knows what it takes to win, and he's trying to keep that going as a coach.
Boy, a head coach at 30 years old, you really got to know what you're doing when you're a head coach that young, and he certainly has, like you said, a winning pedigree, a winning history. He's done very well for the Manual Rams to this point. Indeed,
and then you look over at Normal Community. They are no slouch of their own. They've been very, very good, especially in the past decade or so. Going back in history, dating back to as far as 1905 is what our IHSA records indicate. Normal Community maybe wasn't the basketball juggernaut that Manual was in the 80s and in the 90s. However, look at what Dave Witzig has done since he took over in 1999. They have been able to go to 2 state Final Fours, including a runner-up, state 4th place, 20 or more win seasons under Dave Witzig, and not to mention 11 regional titles.
That's impressive. I mean, to do it all in the big class, like 4A for a little bit since 2008, and then you got to add in the class AA back in the 90s and the 80s. I mean, what both these schools have done since the 80s and 90s, and what Manual really has done since the century, it's just been really impressive.
Certainly has, and yeah, we'll throw out a word maybe for any longtime Normal Community fans out there. Joe Hawthorne, Tom Cooper, Dale Kramer, Fran Summers, some older coaches, some coaches of the past for Normal Community that still led good Ironman teams, but nothing what Dave Witzig has done in the past 23 years for Normal Community. How about some key players, maybe some keys to watch for both teams? We'll get to the key players in a moment. What is the key for both teams, Michael?
For Normal Community, I gotta say, you gotta stay sharp. They're riding into this game with an undefeated record, and undefeated record in the the Big 12 also. See if they can keep their undefeated season alive, and they gotta rely on Gene Weber because this Manual team, they're not big at all. If they can utilize Gene Weber and utilize his 6'9", 6'10" frame, then it's gonna be big for them. And as for Manual, they gotta take care of the ball. They're a very fast-paced team. They like to get down the court. They like to score. So if they want to have any success versus the big Normal Community Ironman, they gotta take care of the ball by doing so. And they gotta box out because when it comes to smaller teams versus big teams, in order for smaller teams to get rebounds, they gotta box out.
Indeed, and talk about key players. We'll keep it with Manual for a moment. Biggest note tonight is Dietrich Richardson, their Sterling's Jr., is out tonight with a groin injury right now. So Dietrich Richardson will not be playing. He's picked up some multiple D1 offers. He's the nephew of former Illinois Fighting Illini DJ Richardson. Dietrich has also picked up offers from those Illini, Bradley, Vanderbilt, among others. He definitely is a really good young player. They'll have to lean on some other guys. Jarrell Traps, DJ Finley, Darren McClendon, Terrence Page, to name a few, Nas Jackson. They have a lot of you know, you say Rams in the herd or Rams in the pack that can get after you, but they did lose their biggest player for tonight's game, which certainly had an impact.
Dietrich Richardson losing him was huge for Manuel, but like you said, Rams in a pack, they all can play extremely well. They all play similar to each other, so even though you lose Dietrich Richardson, it doesn't escape from their game plan of running out and getting easy baskets in transition.
Certainly, and then you look at key players going over Normal Community side, they're pretty tall. I think that goes without saying. They're a team full of skyscrapers out there. You mentioned the rebounding, the boxing out sort of thing. Well, it's going to be hard to do when you got some 6'9", 6'10" guys out there. Jaheim Weber. You look at Noah Cleveland, Braylon Roman. You've got guys up and down the floor with D1 and college looks. They're really impressive.
I mean, this team almost brings you back to a couple years ago with the Glenbard West team that won state in 4A in 2021, I have to say. Like that team, they're really tall, they're really athletic, and this Normal Community team, they're no slouch. Like you said, just a very complete team, very tall team.
Indeed. It's going to be a great one tonight. Early season matchups. Normal Community perfect so far at 5-0, 1-0 in the Big 12 Conference. However, they have played against a couple Big 12 foes. They were just at their inter-city conference matchup. Those don't go on the score sheet for the conference quite yet. We're going to get step aside briefly for the national anthem. We'll be right back on ClutchSportsIL.com. Saxophone rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. I'm assuming that's going to be the Manual High School band director who did that right there, so kudos to him. Got a little saxophone action. I appreciate a good high school band, especially a good saxophone. What about you, Michael?
I got to appreciate the saxophone being played. I mean, that doesn't really happen too much often in basketball or high school basketball, so saxophone is pretty cool.
You gotta love it. It brings a little jazz flavor to the South Side tonight for a good basketball matchup. We've got starters for you coming your way. Normal Community and Manual ready to go. It's going to be Normal Community in their all orange jerseys. You got a little black and white trim, white numbers and letters with a little black trim on those and that trademark in logo on the shorts. That's how Normal Community looks tonight. Their starting lineup will follow. Nico Newsom, the senior guard, is wearing number 3. You also have got Braylon Roman out there, the 6'4" senior, wearing 11. 22, Dexter Niekamp, the football stars, the 6'4" senior. 23, Noah Cleveland is the 6'4" senior forward. And rounding things out is Jaheim Weber, the 6'9" senior center, who's committed to Wright State out of the Horizon Conference. And we'll look how these Manual Rams line up here shortly. Get their starting lineups all finished up right here. They'll start out there with Jarrell Traps, the senior guard. London Tolliver, the senior guard also. He'll wear number 3. Nas Jackson, the junior guard. He's out there with Darren McClendon. who's wearing 35 for the Rams, and Terrence Page will round things out wearing 24. Stolen away by Jackson right off the bat. He goes up. No foul is called, and he steps out of bounds trying to recover. But as you said early on, Michael, they need to play fast, get out in transition. Right there, a steal by Jackson, an early opportunity.
What a hot start for Emmanuel. I mean, getting out in transition, that's what they got to do. Get easy buckets, play their style.
And another steal. Here's Traps going the other way. He'll finish that time. 2 steals and finally a bucket for Manuel.
If Manuel could play their way of basketball, it's hard to beat them, and especially going up against a 4A school like Normal Community, it's no different.
Especially no Dietrich Richardson. Odds might be a little stacked against Manuel tonight, at least on paper. And you look at the school size, bit of a David and Goliath matchup of sorts, the 4A and the 2A, but I think Manuel might be one of the more misleading 2A schools in the state. Yes, a smaller enrollment, but the tradition and the talent they have come through here is almost second to none. Foul right there is going to be handed to Tolliver. Seems to be, Michael, that, you know, Normal Community is going to have to kind of feel it out. You know, they're used to maybe kind of getting into a rhythm, but they're being attacked so quickly, they have to kind of play a waiting game with this one.
They got to be smart with how they pass the ball. They got to take care of the basketball. That was a big emphasis for Manuel, but as we see here, Jaheim Weber, but they got to take care of the ball themselves because, you know, how Manuel is playing aggressive defense, they got to combat that with taking care of the basketball, maybe throwing in some back cuts. So we'll see how they do with the Bengal defense.
Indeed, that's what they can do. Weber will get a lot of rebounds, and those second chance efforts can mean so much. Manuel played a close one against Richwoods. Richwoods, of course, is also going to be excellent this year. Lathan Somerville, the Rutgers commit, played a good first half, just kind of fell away in the second. Blocked away by Cleveland, recovered by McClendon. The Rams have a second opportunity. Tolliver taking his time, guarded by Newsom. It's tipped away with Cleveland again getting a hand. Nas Jackson for 3, no good. And down comes Nico Newsom with it.
Ironman flexing their size in that possession down the court.
And a foul coming up here. See who they charge this one to. Noah Cleveland got hacked. Nas Jackson will pick the foul up. He's a transfer from East Peoria. Played last 2 varsity seasons with the Raiders. Weber low post. Fouled. It's going to be a jump ball, rather. The baseline official will overrule and call a jump ball. That's what you got to do. He's got the size advantage. That's pretty plain to tell. Just get a hand on the basketball.
Right away, we're seeing Manuel double team Weber. They're saying they're double teaming Cleveland down low. They're trying whatever they can to have size not be much of a factor.
Trapp shoots for 3. It was a little bit of a low shot, just bounces off. Niekamp comes away with it. The football star. Pretty good Normal Community football team in the semifinals. Weber goes up and he'll finish for 2. He's got all of the Normal Community points, all 4 to be exact, and they take their first lead.
The Noah Cleveland high-low to Jaheim Weber is almost unstoppable when you're playing a team as small as Mangold. They got to find a way to stop that.
Another 3, no good. Tipped away, nearly came out with it was Finley. Weber again to the post, that time off the back iron. That's going to be the bread and butter. They're going to it a lot.
Well, like I said in the open, they got to rely on Jaheim Weber with the Mangold team not being as tall as the Normal Community team.
Manuel taking some shots, struggling early on to make them. Tipped away, off a leg. Finley's able to recover for Manuel. Back to Nas Jackson. Hesitation and a travel is called. Good idea, just took that step a little too quickly.
He was getting ahead of himself there, and he realized that he had a good option to go to the hoop, and he did, and obviously just took an extra step.
4-2, about a halfway point of the first quarter. A few turnovers have plagued Normal Community in these opening minutes. Manuel hasn't been able to make many shots. Cleveland from distance, no good. Weber just reaches the arms. Jackson will pick it out though. Finley, hop steps up and no good. McClendon ran into his own man. Here comes Weber the other way. Choke time for Jaheim Weber. Timeout, Manuel.
What a throwdown from Jaheim Weber. I mean, the 6'9" frame going to work. That's what a finish by Weber.
That's a big way to start for the Wright State commit, Jaheim Weber. Weber was recruited by what you could say the schools in the backyard, the local schools here in Illinois. Had looks from Bradley, hometown ISU, Southern Illinois, but ultimately going to the very respectable Horizon League, which, hey, not a bad play for a really talented big fella.
No, I mean, going to Division I basketball in general is just a good idea. I mean, you can't go wrong with any Division I program. Obviously, there's more respectable programs in Weber State, obviously not being a Power 5 program, but Horizon League, Big 10 Conference, Pac-12 Conference, Big 12, it's still Division I basketball at the end of the day.
It really is, and there's always room to grow. The way the transfer portal is played in college basketball, a couple successful years at Wright State could lead him to a Power 5, to be a transfer very, very possibly. But congratulations to him on being able to get that commitment. And Braylon Roman is uncommitted, a senior right now. He's got some offers of his own. Bradley, ISU on that list also. University of Illinois, Chicago, Murray State. He's got about a quarter of the Missouri Valley on his number. Radford, Robert Morris, among others. Here's Breedlove, just checked into the game, can't hit from three. Lots of open, just missed shots from the Rams. Newsom, and it'll stay with Community. What do, Michael? They're getting some open shots. You say you hit a couple of them, you're either in a tie ball game or you're in the lead. What do you do to shake off a slow start shooting?
You just got to keep shooting. An average shot's going to go in, but the more shots you take, obviously they will go in at some point. So if I'm Manuel, just keep shooting. I mean, they're penetrating and they're getting open looks. You're kicking out, so just keep shooting.
Got a charge right there as legendary referee Don King calls. Don has been an official around the Peoria area for quite some time. I'm sure if you've watched Central Illinois basketball, you've seen Don a time or two. Nas Jackson, free throw line jumper, no good again. Just unfriendly from the rim.
They're getting good shots. They will fall at some point.
And tipped out by Jackson, really active on the hands. He's always looking to steal the basketball.
Mango both playing fast on offense and on defense. I mean, they're running down. They're trying to get back tips on the Normal Community players, and it's working out to this point. Only a 4-point deficit.
Here's Cleveland. Ironman trying to work around the perimeter. They want to find their man inside, though. Active hands, though, from Manuel. Creates another steal. Traps up, no good.
Weber's on the outside of the court. Oh, just missed him.
And it's going to be a charge. Lowered the shoulder, they're going to say. Normal Community bench doesn't quite agree with it. But, man, just once again, Manuel just doing whatever they can. The offense just isn't clicking yet.
Their defense is doing a really good job. They're playing very sound defense. They don't have to do everything in the world, to get calls going their way. But in terms of their offense, they're getting good shots. It will fall at some point.
I doubt they'll finish this game with 2. Turn around, there it is, breaks the seal. That's gonna be DJ Finley, and he gets the Rams back on the board. They just trail by 2, and we got about 2 minutes left in the first frame. Roman all the way, block and one. Roman with the response.
Good response by Roman, and as for Mango, I mean, that shot, it was not the easiest shot in the world. It was a fall-away jumper by Finley, and that's the one that gets knocked down. So hopefully that takes the lid off the basket for the Rams. And as for the Ironman, I mean, good response back, not getting flustered with the Mango defense and getting the and one.
Roman trying to complete the three-point play off the back iron, but Community will get the effort. Going back up is Cleveland. It's a 4-point play overall. Now a 6-point lead, biggest so far of the night for Community.
Just throw it up to Cleveland and he'll finish it for you. One of the taller players on this Normal Community team.
Three-pointer, other way, no good. That one was on the way from Jakyle Green. Connor Smith, and another charge. Dave Witzig cannot believe it. That's the second kind of unusual looking offensive foul we've seen. In this game so far. Rams with another opportunity off the offensive foul.
Need to continue to penetrate and get good shots. They've been getting good shots all night.
Traps, little wing jumper, no good. Pinballs, and it's finally taken down by the Ironman and Owen Osborne. There's Niekamp, top of the key. Kicks it out to Smith.
I love the defense Mango is playing right now. Really aggressive.
Straight up was Breedlove as a tough shot from Smith. Down goes Manuel.
Wide open.
Three-pointer, no good. And Niekamp comes out again, just struggling shooting as Manuel. They're not finding much success from distance. Triple teamed, and Cleveland is fouled. No, they're going to say you traveled first. Thought maybe he got a bit of a hit there on his way up, but they're going to say he shuffled the feet.
I mean, when you're triple team like that, it's hard not to call a foul in that situation, but it could have gone either other way. And as for Manuel, I mean, they're not going to get very many second chance opportunities with the height of Community. So when they take shots, and they're good shots, they got to hit them.
Under 40 to go. We'll see if Manuel elects to just play normal if they want to try to hold things out. They only have 4 points. No shot clocks. You can't really say, you know, it's a 2-for-1 opportunity sort of thing like that. They're at the liberty to take as much time as they'd like. Traps, wants to make a move. Turns the corner, one hand up and in. Left-handed from Jarrell Traps, and it's a 4-point ball game. Final seconds of the first. Roman has it, goes all the way, flips it up, no good. Tipped around, and it'll be Community ball with .3 on the clock. You look maybe here for a lob on the inbound?
Lob to Weber, or excuse me, Weber's not in the game. It'd probably be a lob to Cleveland, I'd assume. You know, you can't really catch the ball and take a real shot here. It's only 0.3 seconds, so a lob to Cleveland.
They do go up to Cleveland, and he just can't get it on the touch. Overall, Manuel able to keep this 4-point game. Community, a big 3-point play opportunity from Braylon Roman that turned into a 4-point possession for Community is the difference in the first.
Traps layup towards the end of the first quarter, excuse me, was really what gives Manuel a little bit of confidence going into this huddle and going into the second quarter, and they really got to hit their shots because they're not going to get very many second chance opportunities with Normal Community's height.
Indeed. Well, we got a break in the action. We want to let you know that if you're out there watching, perhaps you have a small business or a product. Perhaps you're a franchisee here in the community, Bloomington Normal, Peoria area, wherever you might be, you can advertise with us. You can email clutchsportsil@gmail.com for more information. We'd love to promote your business. We've had great local sponsors come on with us and help promote their brand and their companies in the area. And again, doesn't just have to be Peoria. We're down in Bloomington Normal quite frequently. We'll be spending 4 straight days down there for the State Farm Holiday Classic here in a few weeks. So if you're thinking about maybe getting in the advertising game, want to get a little more run for your local business, you can advertise with us. Again, clutchsportsil@gmail.com to find out more. Second quarter, 4-point ball game in a Big 12 conference matchup. Here from historic Manual High School. Roman from distance. Very smooth looking shot as he steps back. Big lead now for the community.
It was wide open too. He took it all himself. He didn't pass the ball. He just took a few dribbles to his right and found himself wide open for a big three.
And Traps threw it to nobody. He was looking for McClendon on this pick and roll, but McClendon didn't roll.
So now take care of the basketball.
7-point lead, which looks pretty big at this stage in the game. Could get bigger. Newsom loses it. It's tipped out of bounds by Manuel.
Gotta say right now, Manuel's defense is what's keeping them into this ball game. Their offense is struggling, but their defense is still relentless.
Into Roman again. Turns the corner well, just off the iron and the glass. Taken down, numbers. McClendon down and gets it up. It's going to be a goaltend, but it went in anyway. And a nice response bucket from Manuel. I think for the Rams, things haven't been great shooting the basketball, but if you can hang around in this game, if shots start falling, it could be a totally different story.
I mean, for them, it's got to be more about their defense creating their offense. We see a foul there on Weber. Their defense has to create their offense because when they're in their offensive sets, it's hard for them to make their shots right now. So when they get steals on defense, they got to convert into points on the offensive end. Transition offense has to be a key for this Manuel team.
They foul Weber right there. And certainly, I think if you're going to foul a big fella like Weber or Cleveland, you want to at least get your money's worth. Make him make those free throws. He banks in the first one. I'm sure Weber gets fouled plenty, being more of a paint player.
I mean,
misses the second of the two. Traps, goes down, kicks it back. And stolen away. Cleveland, all the distance, and he's fouled. He was trying to get it up and in, but he got fouled on the way.
Coast to coast, big foul. I mean, he could have easily converted that into an and one opportunity. But as for Cleveland and Weber, when they get fouled, I mean, when they play schools as small as Manual, I mean, you're going to experience a lot of double teams and triple teams. And when those double and triple teams come, it's easy for them to foul the big man. So if you do foul the big man, I mean, you got to get your money's worth, like you said. You got to make sure that you foul him hard enough to make the initial shot on that foul hard to make.
Missed the first free throw right there. So far the free ones aren't falling, but that one's good. And get a brief stoppage here to get the ball back in, and we're good to go. 7-point game, biggest lead that we've seen so far. Again, no Dietrich Richardson for Manual tonight, dealing with a groin injury is what I'm told. Not sure how serious it is, if he may be back, but not good enough to play tonight. Green, no good, way off the glass. And out of bounds, unable to handle it down there is Trey Burdett.
It's good defensive pressure by Humbles of Manual, making sure Burdett doesn't get the ball initially and it goes out of bounds, and it's Rams' ball. So
Rams got to try and capitalize here. Can't afford to miss too many more opportunities. Normal Community will turn it on. Traps will try for three. Got it to go. Made the most of it that time from triple. The senior Jarrell Traps is having a big game for the Rams. He's up to 5.
Jarrell Traps, a big three-pointer. That might take the lid off the basket for this Rams team.
Pulls up Roman off. Offensive boards, and Nico Newsom with the and one. And they can get those 3 points right back with a free throw right here.
no Ram boxed out Newsom, and like I said before, you got to box out because this Normal Community team, they're one of the bigger teams not only in the area but the state. So, I mean, you got to think about putting a body on somebody, and that's how you get rebounds if you're manual, and if you do it, that might be a foul on Normal Community. But as for Newsom, I mean, when you get second chance opportunities like that and third chance opportunities like that, you just got to finish, and he did.
Rams will try to answer again. Three-pointer, no good in the corner, nothing going on. As Green is unable to connect. Down low, Weber, that's an easy two from the big fella. 9-point game now, as that's 5 quick ones for Community.
If I'm manual here, I got to answer at the shot. Got to make the shot.
They're working around. Tolliver surveys. Now he's going to drive. Floats one up, is short of the rim. Manual really just kind of in their own head on the shooting aspect tonight. It's off of Roman's foot in a turnover, so they catch a break right there. That could have been a double-digit lead had Community hit a shot on that possession.
I mean, if I'm manual, I mean, it's hard to play offense against a team like Normal Community when you're playing set offense. I mean, you're trying to run pick and rolls. That's why when they get steals in transition on defense, it's important for them to get out in transition offense and score.
Three-pointer, off the iron, tipped around. Second chance effort for Manual, and it'll be a tie-up with a foul. No jump ball. They're going to say grab the arm. So Manual will keep the ball. That's the second on Community in the quarter. Down low, hook shot no good. Bounced around, McClendon had a hand on it. And it's going to be a push. It's going to be on McClendon. That's going to be their fourth. Reminder, the IHSA nowadays, things are a little different for team fouls. And it was tipped out by Manual briefly, but again, 5 team fouls in a quarter will earn you the double bonus. So no more half with the 1-and-1 bonus than the double bonus. What do you think about that, Michael? I know it's taking a little getting used to, but it kind of a new rule change we're all just kind of seeing implemented.
It's one of those rules that I necessarily don't care for, but I do like because I feel like it just makes sense in a way that, you know, any foul that's over 5 or is at 5, it gives you free 2 shots. I do understand that, and I think it makes for a better game.
So a foul on the floor. There is the 5th, so it'll be 2 shots on any foul the rest of the way. That's 4 minutes of 2-shot action for the Ironmen. And we're getting our first look at Kobe Walker tonight. Back in for Normal Community was also Owen Osborne, as Cleveland has one more from the stripe. And he hits both. So biggest lead of the game, doubled up the Rams. Up goes Finley, and he hits the shot. Timeout, Community. Michael, it's again been better for Community. They've still made some of those errors you'd like to see cleaned up if you're Dave Witzig. Other side, Manual has been churning the defense up. They just haven't been able to score much. Maybe a thought from each huddle.
I would just like to say for Manual, I mean, their defense is doing a fantastic job. I mean, they're doing whatever they can to stop Normal Community, and it's worked for the most part, but it's just when they have their set offenses, it's hard for them to get anything going against the towers of Normal Community. And for Normal Community, I mean, they know that Manual wants to double team and triple team Jimmy Weber. They want to double team and triple team all the bigger guys on Community, so it's all about getting the ball down low and finding the open man because they will get double teamed.
Off the timeout, here comes Newsom. And nearly a steal there for Manuel, but they can't recover, so it'll stay with Community.
I like the idea of Manuel turning up the pressure with the press.
Up, no good. And a foul the other way, so that's the third on Community. Owen Osborne picks it up. Finley will inbound.
See if Manuel can make a shot. Maybe officially take the lid off the basket. We'll see. I've been saying that all night, but a shot here would be huge for them.
String some things together is maybe what we're thinking is got to see a few go in a row. They go again. There it is. Up and in for London Tolliver. Maybe things are starting to heat up. Sometimes you just got to get comfortable with the guys you're playing against. And Manuel got it back down to 7. It was as much as 11 about a minute or so ago. Cleveland kicks it off to Roman. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Roman all the way, can't get it. Cleveland pushes him out of the way, and it's going to be a charge. Does look like he lowered the shoulder right there. Nice opportunity on the second effort, but just couldn't quite get it legally.
He threw it back to football. I mean, that's about as obvious of a call for basketball as it gets. I mean, you can't just lower the shoulder into the guy. That was obvious from our booth.
So can Manuel keep stringing things together? No, they cannot. That time they don't get a shot, though, as stumbling out of bounds is Tolliver. Little full court pressure. Niekamp hands it off to Roman.
I do like the idea of Manuel doing a full court press, just trying to hurry up this Community team.
Tipped away, nearly out of bounds. Fought for, and it's out on the Ironman.
What a play by Tolliver. Not giving up on the play, swiping at the ball, making sure it's off to the Community man, and he did all of that, and Manuel gets another crack at it.
Really just tenacious defense. Three-pointer, that one's short off the iron. Long rebound, goes back to Manuel, so really no harm, no foul. Quick shot. Nearly.
Not a big fan of the quick shot there. If I want a shot for Manuel, I mean, I want it to be a good one. I want to make sure it's a shot I know I can make.
Traps has it. 2-minute warning. Breedlove goes in, kicks it out. Nearly stolen away, and Roman eventually comes out with it. Roman into the corner. Smith airballs it. Back and forth we go. Down the court. Blocked by Roman. And out of bounds. It's going to be Community ball. What a sequence from Braylon Roman.
Braylon Roman, I mean, he's been doing a lot on offense, and on defense, he shows off his athleticism, a clean glass block. Good play.
Weber goes to work, and he's fouled on the floor. I think they'll tag Terrence Page there. We'll see what they give it to. It will be Terrence Page.
Once Weber got the ball, that was an immediate size disadvantage for Manuel. They had no other choice than to double team him, and it caused them the foul.
And off the back iron and off, so not the worst foul in the world. And up and in, Weber hits them both. Down the lane, tipped around. Manuel will keep it. Under a minute and a half. 8-point ball game. Traps. Shoots a three. Long three. Gets it to go. Jarrell Traps. He's been hot tonight. His second three-pointer. He's got 8. Hounded is Cleveland, and he's fouled. Much to the chagrin of Marvin Jordan.
He's very animated. He's been animated almost all night to this point. But really, for Mango's offense, I mean, when they're in their set offense, it's really been Jarrell Traps to this point, and a few shots from Landon Tolliver, but it's really been Traps with those threes. They're only down by 5, which I can consider a win for Mango at this point.
Certainly is. I mean, you're hanging with one of the best probably in the state without your best player. And Manuel, a considerably younger team. Traps, moves it around. Page has it. Postal wait.
If Mango wants to, they can hold for the final shot.
Just a little over 30 seconds. They're only down 5, so as you mentioned, could be a win. And then if you can hit a basket here, bring it within a possession, it looks like what they'll do right here. Traps fakes a move to the hoop.
Got to be smart with the ball.
The close guarding count started there, backed off. Down to Breedlove, couldn't secure it. Jumper from the wing, can't get it to go. And a heave at the horn is gonna be short. 5-point ball game at half. If you're Manual, you could say it could have been worse. Community probably would have liked to have cleaned up some of those issues with the turnovers and whatnot, but overall, closely contested game.
Like I said in the open, I said before that Manual can get North Community to run for their money, and obviously
Central Illinois, we're going to overtime. After 4 years of preps coverage in Central Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is ready for a new era. CSM Overtime.
What is CSM Overtime? We're going beyond the broadcast to give you in-depth coverage of your teams,
Your stories, your stats and standings.
your highlights and action shots.
With your subscription, you'll get to see news and feature stories from all sports, up-to-date stats from around the area, and thoughtful analysis from our team of experts. As for our broadcast and social media coverage, it's only getting better.
With your support of Clutch Sports Media Overtime, we'll continue to grow our free broadcast coverage with more sports, more games, and more innovation.
And thanks to our partnership with Too Efficient Media, your social media feeds will be filled with Central Illinois' best sights and sounds. CSM Overtime will also give you access to full galleries from some of the most talented photographers and videographers in our region.
As the new season approaches, it's time for more.
More action, more stories.
More coverage of all Central Illinois sports. It's Clutch Sports Media Overtime.
We'll kind of move things over to the Big 12 now. Gavin, I know you got to broadcast the game between Richwoods and Manual on Tuesday while I was over at Metamort, Washington. What did you see out of that game? The Clutch Sports Media debut for the Rutgers commit Lathan Somerville. What did you see out of him?
Yeah, so that game is a lot closer in the first half. And Manuel's younger team, I believe they lost 5 or 6 players, pretty influential seniors, from a season ago. Carry on Farrell, Lewis Bailey, a lot of players that were just senior leaders for the Rams last year, and they're smaller by enrollment, wise, but they're not going to tell they're going to bring all the impact, and they're a very, very good team. Close first half, but I think Richwoods kind of knew, okay, we're at home, we need to take the energy of this crowd and just kind of put this one away early. And that's what they did. They hit the gas pedal hard on the heels of Somerville, and boy, could he dunk the basketball. I mean, I don't think a layup is in his back pocket. It's, either he's going to knock down a three or he's going to dunk the ball. Um, you know, Not to mention Tavy Smith had a fantastic game as well. We saw a couple 3-pointers from Nick Louderman. Jared Jackson had a couple buckets. So the thing that strikes me about Richwoods is they're not a one-man show. But if you want to say they do have a really good 1-man or 2-man with Smith and Somerville, they're pretty freaking good. Not to mention you've also got 4, 5, 6 really good complementary players. So there is just a lot of guys that can hurt you on that Richwoods team. And Manual, again, they're a little bit younger. Some of their great guys are just coming along. They're sophomores, they're juniors, but they're showing why, hey, if they go and play in 2A, they, again, could be a state contender at that level.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to Richwoods, obviously a team that we saw quite a bit last year, and every time we broadcast them, I was just in awe of how many good guards they had. Obviously, they didn't really have that big presence down low. They had Sabri Quadam, who was a pretty good glue guy, nice guy down low, but no guy that had like just a real a real ton of size. Lathan Somerville is an early Christmas present for that team because now he allows you
Yeah.
to switch to the floor. I mean, Richwoods, they lost one game. They lost to Harvey Thornton, one of the best teams in the state that boasts Illini commit Morez Johnson.
But
Just
even in that game, John, like, I wasn't there, but I hear that, Somerville was in trouble most of the second half and fouled out before that game was well over. I mean, there was a couple minutes left in the game. To lose by 2, if you have Somerville that entire second half, no telling what could have happened. I think that they went from a team that was like 75% of the way there last year, as you mentioned, really good in the guard area. Those guards only got better, and then you throw a big man in there, plus JD Etherly adds them some size off the bench. They are a team that is just complete. I mean, if you want a complete team, them and probably Normal Community are probably the 2 most complete teams you're going to find around.
Yeah, William Smith as a great group over at the Woods and Normal Community. They're kind of the big giant lurking over almost this entire show right now. We'd be extremely remiss if we didn't talk about the Ironmen and all the hype that they bring. If any of you guys remember watching Glenbard West and their state championship winning team from 2 years ago, that was just completely dominant. This team is going to be sort of like that. At least we can't guarantee how many wins and losses they'll have, but the look of the roster is the same because they are so tall. They're starting 5 of Nico Newsom, Braylon Roman, Jaheim Weber, a couple other guys. No player is shorter than 6'4", and they have
Right.
2 guys I believe that are over 6'9", and Kobe Walker and the Wright State commit Jaheim Weber.
Yeah, they're just really tall, and you can throw a tall lineup out there, but they're tall with skill. So they can really get it done all over the floor. We've seen the modern game nowadays, guys that have the size, say like a Lathan Somerville or Jaheim Weber, they're not just interior players. They can get around and stretch the floor. They can handle the ball if they need to. That's what we see a lot out of this modern game, and to have 5 guys on the floor like that is something truly remarkable. Now, we're gonna have Normal West fans saying, "Hey, we almost beat them. It was a 3-point game." I think when you get in some of these rivalry matchups, conference matchups, they're just going to be closer out of the nature of the game. But I think when Normal Community, takes these tests, gets better because of them, and then they get outside, going forward into the holiday tournaments, into the shootouts, and then into the playoffs, they're going to be a team that I don't think many teams can match up against. I mean, I don't see a lot of teams stopping the Ironmen. The Ironmen would almost kind of have to stop themselves. And so far, they've gotten off to a very fast 5-0 start.
They definitely have, but I mean, just look at the schedule for Normal Community. I mean, it's just one that exudes confidence. They play Harvey Thornton, who we mentioned earlier, that has Morris Johnson and a number of other great D1 bound players at the University of Illinois Springfield shootout on December 16th. And they'll play in a State Farm Holiday Classic, which, as always, Clip Sports Media will be broadcasting every game from that tournament. So stay tuned for that. They'll be at the prestigious Highland Shootout, which is one of the best ones in the state that maybe isn't quite the holiday tournament, but regardless, very good talent down there at Highland. That's on January 6th. They play a 4A state finalist from last year, Downers Grove North, at the Wheaton Warrenville South invite the weekend after that. Have a couple more games in that tournament up in Wheaton. Then the week after that, the Lyle Bennett Shootout. Lyle Bennett, obviously a good team. I'm sure they're going to bring in a lot of great talent from Chicago. Then they also play Metamora on later in the season at the Normal West Crossroads Shootout. So, Normal Community is going to get a lot of marquee games this year. They have their target on their back. Every team is going to want to beat them. But so far, again, the Ironmen have looked really, really good. Normal West, so you mentioned, almost took down Community. It's a 54-57 game. Community won that to win the intercity title down in Bloomington Normal. But Normal West, I think, is also going to be a good team this year. They're sitting at 2-4 right now. Had a tough loss to St. Joseph Ogden by 2 points earlier in the week. But Nate Moore, Gavin Camp, a couple other guys, certainly some players to watch. Normal West, it's just kind of like their football team. They're always hanging around in contention. So I think we can expect that again out of the Wildcats this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they did last year. I don't think anybody was maybe picking them to win the conference or anything a season ago. And then, they were beating Richwoods and having some really good games last year. Gavin Camp, among others, they can shoot the 3 ball really well. And that 2-4 is extremely misleading. I mean, they've hung around with the best of the conference early in the season, lost by 3 to Normal Community, 11-point loss at Richwoods, all things considered, not that bad. They're hanging around. I mean, beating BCC is a pretty good win there and took care of Bloomington. So as they settle into the year, Normal West just adds to just the plethora of teams in the Big 12 that can get it done. I mean, there's, 12 teams in the conference. You look at it, there's probably 6 or 7 teams you never know could be in contention, or a team that could sneak up behind you. Over 50% of that conference is really going to give you a test on a nightly basis. So really like what I've seen out of the Big 12 so far, and the Bloomington Normal schools are bringing it so far.
They certainly are. And going real quick back to...
And welcome back inside the gym here, Manual and Normal Community. Hopefully you were able to enjoy a little of us talking Big 12 and Mid-Illini basketball action. If you want to hear the whole episode, we talk about plenty more. You can find that on our YouTube channel, Clutch Sports Media, and we'll try to do a weekly In the Clutch basketball podcast, talking all things boys and girls basketball from everybody around the area. But we got one in front of us, and up in front is the Rams coming in with London Tolliver, striking for a quick 2. And Michael, let's get into it. We'll discuss a little what we saw in that first half. Manual hung around. They trailed by as much as 11. Now it's just a 3-point game with that quick bucket.
They weren't leading in the score going in the half. It was 18-23. But I would consider it a win for Manual just because they know they're missing out on their best player, and they're playing their style of basketball.
Stolen by Traps, and it's a 1-point ball game. Things getting real interesting, and this is kind of reverse what we saw on Tuesday when they played Richwoods. Manual very close at halftime. Richwoods turned on the gas pedal very quickly. Newsom is fouled on the way up. But I think maybe the message in the locker room for Marvin Jordan was, let's not get behind early.
And I bet another message was that, hey, we're not shooting the ball the best. Let's turn our defense into offense. And right off the bat, we see 2 steals that turn into layups. And that's their bread of basketball. That's the bread and butter for Manual. And if they can play their style of ball, they're really hard to beat.
You got to be able to do things to combat the size of Normal Community. Specifically, again, Weber, Cleveland, Niekamp, Rollman, the list goes on and on. And without Dietrich Richardson, who adds you kind of a versatile 6'4"-ish wing. Second one's good from Newsom. Again, no Richardson tonight with a groin injury for Manual. They just trail by 2 to one of the best teams in 4A, one of the best in the state, considered by many people. Jackson, and it's tipped out, stays with Manual.
Manual's got to turn up the defensive pressure. They come out with their heads on fire, and they've got a couple steals off the gate. And they got to hit their shots on the set offenses. You know, they're not always going to get all the layups in the world. So when it comes to hitting threes on their set offense, they got to hit them.
And it's going to stay with Manuel. Bouncing around a little bit. They'll keep the ball. Tosses it in to Tolliver. Manuel not really in a hurry. A couple quick buckets have got him within 2. Three-pointer, Nas Jackson! Manuel with the lead. Their first lead since 2-0 in the ball game. And it's a 1-point affair as the Rams are starting to feel the energy.
What a shot by Nas Jackson. It gives Manuel the lead.
And up and in response from Noah Cleveland, just outsized them right there. Nas Jackson kicks it over. Shot from the wing is Finley with the answer. Now the shots are starting to fall.
It's big for Manuel.
Nearly a steal by Finley. Boy, this is going to be an entertaining finish if this first couple minutes is any indication.
Marvin Jordan is extremely pleased with this defense, and rightfully so. They're getting after it, and they're creating a lot of defensive havoc.
A lot of these guys from Manuel are no stranger to the football team either, so I got to think that, you know, you go from playing football, a lot of these guards probably are defensive backs. Hold on McClendon, stay with Community, but you know, a lot of these guys being multi-sport athletes, you know, I'm sure some of them are track runners. I think that's got to help you, Michael, just to be able to keep this pressure up, to keep this fast-paced play going for 4 quarters.
You got to talk about conditioning. I mean, basketball and track conditioning, identical, and you got to talk about the physicality in both basketball and football, identical within itself.
Hard screen from Weber, and then a foul coming up. And a bench warning, I believe, was handed out to Manuel. It was indeed a bench warning to Manuel. I don't know if you saw that one, Michael, develop, but it did look like a hard screen from Weber. Whether or not it was illegal, the refs didn't think so. I didn't get a good view of it. Otherwise, we'll see Newsom shoot a couple shots.
It was very debatable. I mean, it's a very judgmental call, and at the end of the day, you got to go with what the pinstripes say.
Really hard to judge right there. Kind of a in-the-motion play. They didn't see enough there to call it an offensive foul. Community back with the lead after the free throws. But 3 quick fouls on Manuel, so they've been in foul trouble tonight a little bit. Trapp shoots up from the free throw line, no good. Taken down. Barely able to hold the pivot foot is Green. Nas Jackson is blocked, and it's going to go to Community. Marvin Jordan kind of telling Jackson, that's one of those you just kick it out. You know, don't try to be the guy.
You know, going up against a guy like Cleveland, I mean, you got to make some extra passes at some point. I mean, it's hard to shoot over those players who are like 6'9" and 6'10". It's kind of hard to do at times.
Back down to Cleveland. Tried to go again. It's batted out of bounds, and I think Manuel will take that as they'll get an opportunity to reset.
What's happening with Community's offense is that they're doing what they did in the first half and the second half with Gene Weber and Noe Cleveland, their high-low action, and it forces Manuel to double-team the post guy, and when that happens, Normal Community can kick out for some easy threes, or, you know, the big man can take it in himself.
Roman recovers on the inbound, back to Weber. He's going to try to back down Green. It's tipped away. Transition for Manuel. Other way, Page up and in for 2. Back and forth we go. We've seen about 3 or 4 lead changes so far. 4 lead changes to be exact. 5 lead changes. Josh Messenger's just throwing me signals at this point. Our great producer. Another steal. Now we're getting to countless numbers. Up. Nearly finishes. He does.
What a shot by Finley. The Manuel way, turning defense into offense. steals after steals and layups after layups. My goodness.
DJ Finley, other way we go, and a foul. Roman is foul driving in. A few boos will rain down from the home faithful. But boy, what a track meet this has been. Again, Manual trailed by as much as 11 in the first half. 11 not insurmountable. Up off the inbound, no good Cleveland. He gets it back, up and in, and one. This one's keeping me on my toes, Michael.
It's beginning to be that way. When Manual was down 11, it might have not felt that way, but steals after steals, transition buckets after transition buckets, and it's certainly a back-and-forth ball game now. I'm on my toes now.
Cleveland trying to tie it back up. He does. Nas Jackson back into the game for Jarrell Traps. I'm sure Traps won't be out long. He's had a nice game so far. But Finley has been taken over in the second half for Manual. Ball movement, Nas Jackson steps through, kicks it back to Finley. Finley amongst the trees, tosses it up. Finley is unable to miss right now.
What a tough shot by Finley over the 6'10" Jaden Weber. I mean, that's a really hard shot to take and make.
It's like if Finley's thrown it at the hoop in the second half, it's gone in. Now he gets another steal. What an effort. Finley unofficially has got about 3 steals in the second half to go with about 6 points. A little over halfway through the third quarter.
When Community gets it to their big guys, Manual always double teams them. And it's so far, for more times than not, it's been working out for them.
Down is Page. It's blocked by Weber. Cleveland comes out with it. He's got it. Left hand, coast to coast. And a foul is called, block on Nas Jackson. Really bang play. Cleveland lost the ball. Kind of came in out of control. He had in his left hand, and he plowed over Jackson. Jackson can't believe it.
It looked like he extended his arm towards him. That could have gone either other way. But at the end of the day, just like I've said before, it's all in the pinstripes at the end of the day.
That's the 5th team foul on Manual here in the third quarter. First free throw is good from Cleveland. It's kind of reversed what we saw in the first half. Manual didn't commit many fouls, but the more they've kicked that pressure up, the more fouls they've committed, and that's probably pretty normal. Offensive board, Smith. Roman kicks it back to Smith, and almost turnover. Who are they going to give it to? Gives it to Manual. Couple hands touched it. I think if we had instant replay in high school, Michael, we may have gone to the monitor probably 4 or 5 times in this game already.
We would probably be in the first quarter at this point. I mean, we've gone to the monitor so much.
Maybe look for him on the lob on the inbounds. Referees making sure there's no physicality before the ball gets in. Roman backs down, up. Can't get it to go, tipped around. Page comes down with it. Tips it over. Community with the steal. Roman, another steal by Finley. I want to see the steal numbers from him after this game.
It's got to be close to double digits at this point.
3-pointer, Page hits a big one. 4-point ball game, biggest lead of the night for the Rams.
We've been waiting all day for Manual to hit some shots, and finally, it's raining threes for the Rams.
And a foul on the Rams. So back to the free throw line for the bonus. And first one is good.
And how about the Mango student section waking up with such a close game? I mean, we've been hearing them ever since the second half started.
The trademark manual chant, but he hits both foul shots. Still a 2-point lead for the Rams. Under 2 minutes to go. Rams trailed by 5 at the half. Now they lead by 2. Finley again. He's on a different level. DJ Finley hits another.
These are not easy shots, folks, either. I mean, these are difficult shots. I mean, not only is he stepping back and in these shots, but he's shooting them over players who are 6'5", 6'6"-ish. I mean, these are tough shots.
Roman is hacked on his way, and he'll go back to the line.
Like Manuel's up in their defensive pressure, like they've been doing all night. And sometimes it works. Most of the time, really, it's been working out for them in the second half, but there has been fouls called against them also.
Roman back to the line, misses the first shot. Second one is up and good from Roman. Manuel comes the other way, Finley again. Definitely the hero tonight for the Rams.
I mean, Finley, with hitting the shots that he's hit, I mean, Manuel's felt more comfortable in their set offenses. I mean, in the first half, we've seen them struggle shooting the ball, but since Finley's hit a few shots, they've been comfortable taking shots.
From the wing is good. Manuel is really starting to heat up as that one from postal weight goes in. Just a sophomore. A lot of young players on this Manuel team. Up and one! Count the buckets. A chance at one more. Community continues to respond.
And they got to respond at this point. I mean, with how Mango's been playing their game so far, I mean, now it's up to community to make some shots, because if they don't make shots, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to come back.
So a chance at the and one. Roman really starting to step up. It is good. So just a 2-point game again. Every time Manuel jumps out to a 2-possession lead, community's got an answer. Under a minute to go, what do? Do you settle for a shot if you get it, or do you just really try and hold for the last one?
I would just hold for the last one. I mean, Manuel's got Normal Community where they want them. Without their star player, they have a 2-point lead. So I wouldn't be hurrying at all for a shot. I'd be taking my time.
It's tipped. It'll stay with Manuel with 28 seconds. I think they may have been trying to just drive in and kick it out to kill a little time. Now they'll get a chance to reset into green.
Hold for the last shot. If you get a layup or any easy shot that you know you can make, you're confident in making, then take that shot. But I would hold for the last shot if I was Manuel.
Just got to keep moving the ball. 14 seconds now. Gets it over. Back to Tolliver. 8 seconds. 7, 6 seconds. Tolliver goes up and he's fouled on the floor. So 2.8. They'll definitely have the last shot at it now. Who do you go to? You got Finley on the court. You got Tolliver. Who's the guy shooting?
I would go Finley here in this situation. I'd go to Finley, get a nice pick and roll game, and see if he can get a wide open shot. Or if not, you can dump it down low and see what Mango does here.
It'll be Tolliver to inbound. 2.8 to go. Gets it down, and it's off the foot. So clock never even started. Looks like they may be trying to work it inside for maybe potential lobs, at least where everybody's crowded at.
They might try to give it to Tolliver, and he might try to hand it off to Finley in the left or in the right corner, excuse me, and try to hit a quick three. But a lot of opportunities here with this Mango team on this inbound.
Inbounded, 2 seconds, thrown up by Green at the horn, he got it! Ja'Kyle Green at the buzzer, 4-point lead for Manual.
That was a big shot for Manual. That ups it to a 2-possession game, and like we said before, they're without their best player, Dietrich Richardson, and they have the 4-point lead over against one of the best teams in 4A. What a game for Manual to this point. What a second half.
While we got a break in the action, let's let you know that if you want to advertise with us, here's your opportunity. You can go to clutchsportsil@gmail.com and let us know what you want to promote. Could be your own product, a small business, maybe you own or franchise a business in the local area. It doesn't matter. We'll franchise it. We'll advertise you. Getting my words mixed up here. See, my business skills are less than par, but we'll let our members of the company that are a little better at that deal with you. If you'd like to advertise with us, we'd love to hear from you. We deal with businesses all across Central Illinois, from Bloomington Normal all the way here in Peoria. No shortage of opportunities for social media advertisement, broadcast advertisement. You let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Again, you can email clutchsportsil@gmail.com to learn more. Fourth and final frame. The last bell unless we get overtime. From down 5 to up 4 goes Manual. Community trying to respond. Fasten those seat belts. We've got a good one here in the fourth.
The community definitely needs to respond because this Manual team, they got all the momentum to this point.
The momentum is with the home team in white. Braylon Roman starts out with it. Tries to step through over to Niekamp, and it's tipped out of bounds. Consistently hounding the basketball. Seems like wherever the basketball goes, there's a Manual player right there.
And that's what you got to do against a really big team like Community. You got to play really aggressive defense, and Manual has done a really good job all night long. That's the reason why they have the 4-point lead.
Up from Cleveland, long inbound alley-oop to Noah Cleveland. It's a 2-point game. Lots of time left to go. There could be a number of lead changes in the final 7.5 minutes. Up short from Jackson. Weber takes it down easily. Goes down over the back of Cleveland, and it'll be on the floor. Just trying to keep him out of the painted area, trying to tip the ball away, got on the back.
And Manual's been doing that all night, whether it's shooting Weber or it's Noah Cleveland. I mean, they've just been hounding the ball. I mean, they're double teaming, triple teaming. It's really been what's led to their success.
Cleveland has it low post, off the iron. Second effort from Newsom, tie ball game.
You gotta box out, and that's a culprit of second chance opportunities in Normal Community. If you box out there, you more than likely get the rebound, but second chance opportunity for Community, they
42s both ways. Little over a minute to go into the fourth. We've seen a lot of these lead changes and ties in the second half. There was a stretch of about 2 minutes where it was just changing on every other possession. Tolliver thought about settling for a shot. He'll get it back now. Nearly stolen. Traps, drives down, floats it up, and good. Jarrell Traps is really finding a different gear also. They'll regain the lead.
Good penetration from Traps, getting that easy layup.
Here comes Newsom, takes it on to McClendon. Weber finds the glass. 2 minutes in, we're still tied.
It's good positioning by Weber to make it pretty easy for himself to get the putback.
Down low to Page. Back out to Traps. Page lost it, taken down by Cleveland. They can take the lead back. Goes down low, fouled up and in, and one for Noah Cleveland.
what I'd say from Cleveland, coast to coast, he's been doing that all day. And McClendon, I mean, you got to do a better job on defense in that situation. I mean, you got to at least try to step in front of Cleveland as he's driving to the basket.
And I believe we got a technical foul after the play. Technical foul on McClendon. So he picks up a bit of a double foul there. Really worst case scenario as Cleveland goes back to the line, shoots the first one.
You just got to control your emotions if you're Mango. I mean, in this situation, this close of a game, you can't let North Community get easy points. You can't let them get free points. Looks like to be a double technical.
And now a double technical. So technical both ways is, I guess, what we're finding out. And so that evens it back up. We're going to get a second technical free throw. So what it looks to be like, Michael, is we had a technical on Community. I don't know if who they gave it to, if they gave it to Cleveland or not. And then Cleveland, the free throw he shot for his and one. So only technical goes on Community. They didn't make that perfectly clear initially, but we got it sorted out. So Manual, all things considered, only trails by 1, and they have the ball. Up, no good from Jackson, and it's going to be a jump ball, and it will go to Community.
Refs are telling Marvin Jordan just to calm down. I mean, he's been more into the game than the players, it feels like.
The arrow was pointing towards, on the scoreboard, it was pointing towards Community. On the scores table, it was pointing towards Manual. So it will be Manual ball. The scoreboard, not an exact indicator apparently. Three-pointer, Page, got it! Terrence Page with a big-time triple.
I feel like Terrence Page was surprised to find himself that wide open. Just complete miscommunication on defense from Community.
Stolen away! 3-on-1, Manual lost it, but it's going to be back to Community. Almost had a big steal and score. Tolliver just lost it on the way up.
Tolliver he had someone wide open by the basket he easily could have passed it to, but he tries to take it himself, and it just slips out of his hands. A one-handed try at a layup.
Niekamp tipped around, body hit the deck. Niekamp saves it into Newsom. He drops it off. Cleveland up, fouled. And Cleveland will go back to the line.
Bodies flying all over the place for Manual. I mean, my goodness. Throwing haymakers at Cleveland. And he's been fouled, seems like forever in the second half.
So Cleveland has lived the stripe here in the second half. He makes the first. He's been pretty good from the free throw line, is really the biggest factor of Community staying in this game. Makes the second. We're knotted back up at 49. Sixth tie and seven lead changes, I should say. Nearing the halfway point. Page has it. Jackson drives down, kicks it out. Page again for triple, no good. tipped around. Green has it, pinballs on the floor. Bodies hit the deck, and it'll be a jump back to Community.
Good ball movement by Manuel, just wasn't able to hit the shot. Page once again in the wing for three, just he wasn't able to hit it, and good job by Page following his own shot and getting the tie up.
And it looks like Nas Jackson on Manuel hurt his ankle, maybe a bit of a twist. He was already sporting a brace on that left foot. Looks like he'll go to the side and maybe get worked on. A little tape, a little ice. Niekamp smothered, finally dribbles out with it. Nowhere to go, finally gets it away. Cleveland has it, drives down, up, block.
Defensive pressure by Mango, outstanding, and I mean, I wouldn't say questionable call, but a judgment call by the rest for sure. I mean,
and those ones are tough, for us to maybe exactly evaluate, as the first one's good, Community back in front. It's hard to evaluate because you don't really know from our angle, okay, did he move to the side? Did he sway? To me, it looked like he was set. However, that doesn't mean you move the body in some way. It's still a block. Back to a 2-point lead for Community, 3.5 to go.
Manuel has the answer here. This is a possession that they have to make a shot. Big possession.
Nearly lost. Page nearly lost it. Kicks it back out. Traps. And he's fouled on the floor on a bump. Second team foul, so a few to give for Community. Little confusion who's inbounding the ball for Manuel. They get it in. Three-pointer, Traps, no good. Long board, down the court they go. Newsom, up, and he tried to dunk it. It's tipped out, and it's going to stay with Community, but Nico Newsom got stuffed by the rim.
Boy, that was a close one. Newsom getting up there, and oh my goodness, he was close.
It'll stay with Community nevertheless. Lower up to Weber, and he finishes it off. Timeout by Community. Marvin Jordan not happy, I think, with the defensive effort right there. Definitely a breakdown. Now a 4-point lead for Community. Maybe starting to put Manuel on the ropes a little bit.
They're going by the way of Jaheim Weber, and they've gotten the ball down low to that big fella, and he can definitely finish. When Manuel doesn't play defense the way that they play defense in this game, then it definitely can cost them.
With a young team, you may haven't been in these situations all that often. Takes a little learning and a little getting used to. You just got to play in these types of games to get better at these late game situations. You got to think, too, we're still not all that far into the season, so the legs may be getting a little tired. You're not completely in midseason form yet. We'll see if Manuel's got any juice left in the tank. They've led by as much as 5 after trailing by 11 in the first half. But now it's a 4-point game. Back to Traps. Tolliver. Not a lot of movement for Manuel. Getting a little stagnant out there. Manuel still has 4 timeouts. We'll see if they burn one if nothing gets going. Down low, Breedlove from the wing. That one's off. And now a big opportunity for Community if they could hit a bucket.
Not the shot I wanted for Breedlove in that situation. I mean, he's more of a bigger guy. Pick and roll would have been good for him.
Cleveland tried a big one. Weber gets the board and he's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. He can make it a 6-point game potentially, which still is 2 possessions. However, continuing to make it difficult on Manuel's comeback efforts in the last 2 minutes.
that's just Weber being a man amongst boys in that situation. You know, right by 2 Manual defenders, and he's still able to get the rebound and able to get fouled.
Weber's finds the silk and nothing but net. Weber, second one from the stripe, is good.
Normal Community's free throw shooting is what's pulling them ahead of this game. Really the difference maker for the Ironmen.
They've made the free throws. They've gotten a lot of them. Under 2 minutes to go. Moves it around. Steps in. Tolliver, big shot right there. 4-point game again, 1:34. Ironman will be in no hurry whatsoever. This is where people start to beg the question, how much of the shot clock would affect things. Barely saved, nearly on the line was Smith. Smith goes down, pulls up, gets it in off the bank. 6-point game again, almost a minute left to go.
What a shot by Smith.
Tiptoed the line, barely stayed in bounds. Manuel's got to go, a minute left. 3-pointer, Tolliver, no good. Taken down by Cleveland. They got a foul now. Almost stolen away.
They had to get across the timeline.
Barely gets across the timeline. Roman has it. 47 seconds, and they'll foul him now as they'll go to the line. And free throws will be the difference. If they can make them, it could put it away.
Mangel's 3-pointer, Landon Tolliver, would have been a huge shot if it was made, and that was a huge shot for the difference of this game because you're talking about him making the shot. They don't need the foul immediately. It's a 1-possession game, but with it being a 2-possession game, a 6-point lead for the Ironmen, they have no choice but the foul or just play aggressive defense.
He makes the first, so that's all it's going to really take for Normal is to be able to make the free throws.
It looks like the rest of the Ironmen are on the court, going back on the other side of the court, just not even bothering with trying to get the offensive rebound, just letting Manuel get the board, get the inbound pass.
Roman hits them both. Manuel needs to do something fast. Traps thought about stepping into a 3. He'll take it in for a long 2. Gets it. 32 seconds. Timeout by Manuel. With just a hair over 30 seconds to go. Probably would take a special effort, Michael. What do you do? I mean, in the IHSA with, you know, of course you make a bucket, right? The clock doesn't stop on its own. It's not like college or the pros. How do you manage these late game situations? I know you probably played in a few of these. What do you do to manage it?
If I'm Mango, I got to foul. I mean, there's no really point whether to foul. I mean, they've been playing aggressive defense all game, so they can still play their aggressive defense, and hopefully they get a steal. But at the end of the day, you need the foul, and a normal community, they need to take care of the ball. They can't let this Mango team get out in a hurry and get layups because that's what they thrive on. Mango is getting layups.
And that's been the biggest difference here in the second half is Community has had way less turnovers in half number 2. They've taken care of the ball significantly better. Now we'll see if that can uphold.
And also when Community does get fouled, they've been doing a good job hitting their free throws all game.
Quick foul as Smith will go to the line. And I got to think that they also have their eye on who do they want to shoot these free throws. I think at this point, you don't want Cleveland there. You don't want Roman there. So put somebody there that hasn't been much at the free throw line tonight.
I mean, really, you got to think about who you want to foul when you're fouling in these situations. And like you said, you know, Connor Smith, not much has been done at the free throw line for him. So giving him some opportunities, and like he just said there, he just missed one. So.
And this is where the fans of the 1-and-1 bonus may be saying, if they weren't over the old double bonus limit, that would have been a rebound for Manuel. He'll shoot a second. He hits the second one, but he only gets 1 of 2. 7-point game. Traps goes quick. 3-pointer Finley. Man, he can't miss. Finley's been awfully good tonight, and now it's down to 4. So they're just carving into it in about 10 seconds. I mean, I think that's as much as you could have done.
I mean, Finley, my goodness. Like you said, he cannot miss, and that was a big shot. If he misses that shot, then it's almost game over at that point, but now it's a 4-point lead for the Ironman only. You got yourself a game.
And it looks like the same group will stay on the court. I'm probably gonna foul, if possible, Smith or maybe Niekamp, because again, those are the guys that haven't been at the line much tonight. You'd think maybe the pressure gets on them. You can hope they miss at least 1 or 2. They go 1 of 2 from the stripe or 0 from 2. And then Manuel comes back and makes a shot. Then things get real interesting.
You got to think about fouling the people who haven't been at the line. By the end of the day, I mean, there's only 20 seconds left. I mean, if you have to foul, if you have to foul the foul, then you have to foul.
Plagued by the clock. Unfortunately, it can't add time. You can stop it, can't add it. Niekamp can run the baseline as he's on the inbound. Gets it into Cleveland. We'll see if they foul, and they will. Sheds about 2 seconds off the clock.
What they've been doing all day is double teaming Cleveland, and they had to foul at some point. And you also don't want to foul Cleveland because he's been good from the line to this point, superb from the line at this point. But at the end of the day, you can't waste much time.
You hope that he would miss one if you're Manuel, but I think if you're Community, you got to be feeling a little better about who's at the line. He, as you mentioned, he's been superb. He hasn't missed maybe more than once tonight. He hits the first one.
Cleveland's got his free throw stroke down tonight. I mean, when players have their stroke down, then it's going to be hard for them to miss.
And he goes up and misses that one. 17 seconds. Manuel's got to move fast, and stolen by Community. Roman, and he'll be fouled, and that might have sealed it.
Manuel knew they had to get a bucket quick, and by doing so, they get in a hurry. They don't make the right passes. They try to pass the ball too quick. They play hot potato, and they throw it right to a normal Community man, and like you said, Gavin, that pretty much seals the game.
Honestly, I think just time-wise, there's not going to be enough time. Misses the free throw, but again, it would take a small miracle. Probably it would have to be Community intentionally doing something to fold this one just with the 10 seconds left.
10 seconds and 2 possession. I mean, it's going to be hard for Manuel to come back. But they are a fast team, and they can get down the court in a hurry and shoot a 3. They could make it, and it could be a game, you know.
Could be. You never know. Don't want to write him off too fast, but it would take a special shot. Finley has been excellent tonight, though. He's shot from 3 really, really well. Really all over the floor, Michael. I don't think that, you know, maybe he was at the top of the list for anybody to be the biggest shot maker, but I think that's, again, the thing about Manuel is you look at their roster, you know, aside from Traps and having Tolliver, you know, a couple of important seniors, there's a lot of juniors and sophomores here that you see them now, like DJ Finley, give them another year, they're really going to be impressive.
They're just a team that they can play. They have 5 starters on the court that can do almost the same exact thing each. Like, they all can shoot, they all play fast, and, you know, it can take a sophomore, it can take a junior, it can take seniors to make big shots, and that's what Manuel has. Players all around the court that can do the same thing and make plays. They need a 3.
Got to go quick. Finley's the man. He can't hit that one. McClendon with the time expiring, and that's how things will end. Community sneaks one out here in Peoria. Final score 62-56 as the Ironmen able to hang on in the 4th and defeat Manuel.
It was just a game of who had the most momentum and who just couldn't pull it out the end. And at the end of the day, Manuel had a good idea going into the game with the Gene Webbers of the world and the Noah Clevelands, double teaming in the post. And for the most part, in the first 3 quarters, it worked out. But in the 4th quarter, it was just hard for Manuel to gain any steam. I mean, Gene Weber and Noah Cleveland were stars in the 4th quarter for this Norwood Community team.
Really tough for any team to stop the not just Twin Towers, but multiple towers of Community. They've got a lot of height on their roster, but Community was able to sneak it out. And, you know, if you're Community, you say, you know, we missed some opportunities, you know, we turned the ball over a little bit too much, but you like the ability to play in these close matchups against good teams and, you know, hostile, good road environments early in the season. That's going to make you a better team down the stretch.
And for a team with state aspirations like Community, I mean, playing in these environments will only help you out in the long run. Win or lose, I mean, getting these environments like Peoria Manual, especially when Peoria Manual gets momentum and their fans get into it, it only creates one of the best environments in Illinois. And the fact that they're able to squeak out of here with the win, I mean, it just speaks how talented this Norwood Community team is.
Certainly, and for Manual, again, disappointing, but you were down your best player, Dietrich Richardson, tonight as he was out with an injury. And then you got to think, too, they were that close. I mean, they had a lead going into the fourth quarter. They just couldn't quite get it done. But again, a young team, I think you got to be very encouraged if you're Marvin Jordan.
Marvin Jordan should be definitely encouraged by the way his team played. I mean, you got to talk about in the first half, this team couldn't really make a shot. I mean, you got to talk about Jarrell Traps and Landon Tolliver only being the big shot makers, and then DJ Finley in the second half started cooking it up. But, I mean, they played their solid basketball up until the very end, and then obviously Norwood Community pulled away. If I'm Marvin Jordan, I'd be very pleased with losing your best player and only holding Norwood Community to 62 points, I'm pretty sure, and only losing by single digits.
That's where we'll wrap things up. Michael, it was a good one. I was surveying the crowd as we finish up. A shout out thanks to Gavin Sullivan, who's a big part of mid-pro basketball, the AAU circuit. He let me know before the game Dietrich was out, so thanks to him. I know he's a great friend of the program, able to come on and talk some basketball with us at the TOC, and love to see him around supporting his mid-pro guys. I know there's a few of those running around out here. I believe maybe Jaheim Weber, Braylon Roman playing for those teams as well. So good to see him out, and a lot of other great fans come out and join some Friday night basketball in Peoria. But that's where we'll leave things. We've got more basketball action coming for you next week on ClutchSportsIL.com. Stay tuned to our social media feeds for that. We've got a lot of exciting things on our website at CSM Overtime. You can find that at ClutchSportsIL.com, and our podcast on our YouTube channel. Our first basketball edition is out now. You can go check that out once you get done watching us tonight. So that's where we'll leave things with this broadcast. We'll see you next week. For everybody in the Clutch Sports Media crew, Jonathan Michael on social media, taking pictures as well. I'm sure those will be heading up on our social media feeds. We'll see. I don't know. He's giving me the so-so. They're good enough. I know he's an expert photographer. Could have been better. Room for improvement for sure, but they'll be good enough to look at on your IG feeds. Josh Messenger at the controls doing a fantastic job. Jalen Harris behind the camera. For my broadcast partner, Michael Savoy, I'm Gavin Russell saying so long. We'll see you next week for more basketball action on ClutchSportsIL.com.